So we are going to talk about sensory analysis. What is sensory analysis applied to coffee? Sensory analysis is a scientific discipline that studies the description of sensation perceived by the human body. To apply the sensory analysis to a cup of coffee, you need special training and calibration within a panel of tasters. So, sensory analysis required training specific for coffee. It's important to know what you have to describe in a cup of coffee in terms of sensory analysis and calibration. It is important to calibrate the tasters within the panel because it's fundamental that they are able to describe the same sensory characteristics with the same intensity and with the same name. How to apply training and calibration to coffee? So usually for sensory skills, for quality control of the green beans but also the roasted ones, we use two different brewing methods. One is called cupping. Cupping that follow, especially for specialty coffees, the SCAA cupping protocol. So inside this document there are all the prescription standards and instructions how to prepare the beverage and how to evaluate it with the SCAA cupping form. The main important point to prepare coffee in cupping is that you have to use a brew ratio of 8.25 grams for 150 milliliters. With a coffee that is roasted at a light roasting color with a very coarse grinding size that we can fix it at 850 microns. The volume of water, 150 milliliters, have to have a specific temperature fixed at 93 Celsius degrees. In this cupping protocol and this cupping sensory evaluation, the time that you can take to evaluate the coffee is divided in three phases. So you have to evaluate the coffee immediately, more or less at 70 Celsius degrees. Then another time when the coffee is warm, and another time when it's almost at the ambient temperature. These three phases let you perceive the organoleptic and sensory characteristics of the coffee in a complete way. The other cupping method that especially is used in Italy, because the main brewing method that we use in Italy and in also other countries all over the world, is the espresso. Espresso, in this case, there is not an official cupping protocol for espresso, but it's important to underline that the espresso have to have a foam on the top of the liquid that it's called crema. If in the espresso preparation there is no crema, or the crema is too thin, there is something wrong, so we cannot call this beverage espresso. Crema and then a dark liquid of a volume, we can say more or less of 25 milliliters. The parameter of the water temperature to prepare the espresso, I will say that we can be around 90–92 Celsius degrees, especially for Arabica coffees. And the brewing time should be between 20 and 30 seconds. So now we are going to see more in detail what does it mean evaluate a cup of coffee with our sense of organs. So first of all, smell. Smell, it means that I use my nose to describe and evaluate the quality of the aroma. So in coffee, the smell that you can perceive, the odors that you can perceive with smell in a cup of coffee, it's called aroma. Aroma could be positive or, of course, negative, in this case, because we have some defects in coffee. Positive aroma could be of a very large range of sensory characteristics, smell characteristics. So I will say the main aroma categories and families that you can find in a cup of coffee could be the bakery one, like toasted bread, roasted nuts, vanilla, chocolate, and so on. Then fruity, so it could be, I don't know, stone fruits, red berries, tropical fruits, and so on. Then spicy, for example, clove, cardamom, and anise. And at the end, I will say that the negative part it's brought, for example, by defected green beans, so beans that were not well processed in the coffee producing countries. So for example, malt, earthy, woody, Rio, that is typical defects from Brazil. So this is smell. So we focus our sensory analysis on what we can perceive with our nose. After that, we take a sip of coffee and we evaluate tastes. Tastes are perceived on our tongue, and in coffee could be acidity, then sweetness, and then bitterness. The most pleasant taste in coffee that we can find is sweetness. Why? Because in nature, all ripe fruits that can give to our body energy, minerals, vitamins are sweet. So that's why we love and we search sweet coffees. A hint of acidity, it's very important to have a balanced taste equilibrium into the cup. But we don't like bitterness. I mean, a cup of coffee, it is always bitter because of the Maillard and caramelization reaction that occurred during roasting. But we don't like bitterness because in nature, usually poisons and toxic chemical compounds are bitter. So that's why it's important to have a very good quality cup to do not have a lot of bitterness. After that, mouthfeel. So it's important to evaluate the tactile characteristics that you can perceive in our palate. The only one that it's always negative is astringency. That it's a dryness sensation that you can perceive in our palate that is brought from immature beans. And at the end, the aftertaste. Aftertaste, it's a combination of aroma perceived by orthonasal sensations, by tastes that are lived by the coffee that I already drank, and by the mouthfeel characteristics and sensation, such as, I don't know, for example, silky, smoothie, sensation, and creamy. Could be also buttery, so something positive that I can perceive in my palate. What else? I will just focus an important word that not always has a proper translation in other languages. For example, in Italian, there is no translation, is the flavor. Flavor, it's the sensory characteristics of a cup of coffee that you perceive at the first sip in your mouth when the beverage is hot. And it's a combination of tastes and aromas that you can perceive in your palate by orthonasal description. So tastes plus aroma. It's important also to have a very good mouthfeel. Espresso sensory evaluation, it's important because espresso is one of the most, from a chemical point of view, complex coffee beverage. So first of all, I describe from a visual point of view the crema of espresso that should be of hazelnut color with tiger skin, thick and especially persistent in time. After that, I describe the aroma. So So it takes for the coffee taster some time to describe the complete aromas from the espresso, because it's very complex from a chemical point of view. We have a lot of aroma and we'll need a lot of time to describe it. It's important to smell when I describe the aroma, not only just the crema, but with a spoon I have to break the crema, so to let also the aroma present in the liquid goes in air through my nose. So it's important to keep the espresso cup to my nose for some seconds, with the spoon break the aroma, the crema, and to evaluate all the aromas that I can perceive with my nose. After that, I take a sip. It's important to taste the coffee for sensory evaluation when the beverage is hot. Otherwise, it will be not balanced from a taste point of view. So the acidity, sweetness, and bitterness. To have a very well balanced cup of espresso, the espresso should be slightly acidic, very sweet in terms of intensity, and with a very little amount of bitter note. After that, mouthfeel. Mouthfeel in espresso is described as the characteristics of the body. Espresso, it's important to be of a very high quality and pleasant quality, that should have a very high intensity. So very high bodied, it's always appreciated in a good cup of espresso. And when I finish to evaluate the espresso in my mouth, I drink it and I describe at the end the aftertaste. Aftertaste in terms of intensity, in terms of quality, which aromas I can perceive by retronasal smell activity, and the persistency in time. So espresso should leave a good aftertaste up to 15 minutes. Thank you for your kind attention, and if you have any question, if you would like to attend coffee courses to go deeper in this argument, if you want to join us for coffee trips, so please don't hesitate to contact us.